Hello, so my name is Joe Butler and I'm an NIHR Fellow, currently based at the University of Sunderland, and I'm just going to take a few moments in this video just to let interested stakeholders or potential stakeholders who might be interested in being involved with a grant application just a little bit about what we're planning to do. So the project CareVR that we're proposing is about investigating the feasibility and acceptability of virtual reality in care homes. So for this brief presentation, I'm just going to give an introduction to the team, a quick overview of what virtual reality is, how the technology is being used at the White House, what we are hoping to do, and then what we would like from people who are interested in being involved. And then I'll just put up my emails, opportunity for questions if anybody has any. So the current team, this work was pioneered by Ben Brown, who is Deputy Manager of the White House Care Home in Stockton. And then me, Joe Butler, I'm the principal investigator of the proposed grant in collaboration with Arlene Estelle. So as I said before, I'm a National Institute of Health Research Applied Research Collaborative Fellow, and I'm also a research psychologist or psychology lecturer based at the University of Sunderland. Then we have Arlene Estelle, who is a professor of cyber psychology and also a clinical psychologist who is based at the University of Northumbria. Then we have Stephen Dunn, who is a research psychologist and lecturer based at the University of based at Northumbria University. And then also, finally, Frank Lay, who's an occupational therapist, and he's also a researcher and lecturer based at the University, again based at Northumbria University. So just a brief definition. So what is virtual reality? So virtual reality is basically virtual worlds that are displayed to an individual when they wear a headset such as the one that's shown. It can be used for showing, so these virtual worlds, it can be used for showing videos. There's lots of activities that can be done within it as well, so that attend concerts, play games, meet up socially. So essentially it's one of those technologies where the limit is the imagination is basically the limit of what can be done. However, within this current project proposal, it's the passive viewing of videos that we're proposing to use in the first instance. So just a little bit more about it. So generally, virtual reality it's generally a safe technology. It's just basically like putting a TV screen close to somebody's eyes. Really, that's all it is. There are, however, a few potential side effects. So these can be things such as vertigo, motion sickness, which is just similar to what people may have got years ago when video games first became an interesting technology, or maybe travel sickness as well. There's also another thing called gorilla arm, which is when interacting with stuff in space, where there actually isn't anything, but that can cause some arm ache. However, these side effects, according to the literature, they are rare. Also, the current protocol that we are proposing to use, as pioneered by Ben at the White House, is that essentially people just they're seated and they're watching videos that maybe last for 4 or 5 minutes in length. And these are passively viewed videos as well, so there's no interacting with the environment, so there's no gorilla arm. Also, they're just 4 or 5 minutes, they're very short videos, so that also reduces the opportunity for motion sickness and stuff like that. And additionally, as the technology has improved, because this is a very fast moving technology, due to the improved optics, videos, displays and stuff like that, that's also gone some way to addressing some of these side effects. I already said that in the literature these are rarely reported side effects as well, and also in our service evaluation that we performed 2 service evaluations. I think there was only one person that reported side effects, and that was just when they went from viewing a dark video to taking off the headsets, and they said it was a little bit uncomfortable. On the other side, when I asked this individual if they felt that the trade-off was worth it, they said it was, and it wouldn't deter them from using the technology. And also, I think it's important to remember that there's lots of activities where you may feel a little bit uncomfortable afterwards as well. So, for example, if somebody said that they're going to go up Scafell Pike, for example, then they do that with the intention or the expectation that they're probably going to have muscular ache the next day as well. Similar to perhaps choosing to go on a work function as well. Perhaps if we drink well with a work function, we know that we're going to feel a little bit sore the next day. So it's no different to that with individuals making the choice. So just here we have a photo of somebody using. That's Ben actually there in the photos using or allowing people living with, or enabling people with dementia living with dementia, using the equipment. So this was an interesting experience actually. So what they were doing is they were watching 3 or 4 minute long videos, and I'm going to give some examples of these next. And then it would basically be passed on to somebody else, and then people would discuss, just naturally, this wasn't part of the activity, but we found people would naturally discuss what they had experienced. One of the interesting things that really stood out to us when observing people living with dementia using the equipment was after the activity, people fell asleep. They were falling asleep after using it, which suggests that they may have also found the experience cognitively stimulating. There was one individual who said that they didn't really see the point in using it to go and see virtual beaches and stuff like that. But on the other side, this was confirmatory, because what we expected is that this technology is primarily going to benefit people who are perhaps physically impaired, that they can, to the extent that they can't take part in some of these activities as well. So that's absolutely fine. When watching people who when we watched people other residents who are living without cognitive impairment, that was also interesting. So again, we saw that it was very well tolerated. People enjoyed it. One of the things that really stuck out for me was one of the residents did a virtual cat cafe, and after they did this activity, they started speaking to their neighbour about what they'd seen. They actually found it so enjoyable that they actually started to cry. They said because it reminded them of their cats from previous before they went into the care home. And also, and this really touched me, they said that they hope this is what they saw in the VR is what they hope to see when they die. But it was said very matter-of-factly. So not only was this technology able to, not only is it able to give people enjoyable experiences in an activity itself, it can also lead into difficult conversations that perhaps people might not usually want. And although it's beyond the scope of this study, that is interesting because also there is research going on in other places, for example, within the Netherlands, where they're using virtual reality for palliative care. So as a way to give people experiences, or perhaps to look around things with Google Street View and stuff like that. So yeah, it's really essentially what we've seen so far is it's been very well tolerated, and there is an appetite for using this in this way. So I'll just give an example of one of the videos. Well, I'll give an example of a few videos here. So this is the London bus ride. So interestingly, one of the other nice anecdotes is Ben was using this with residents during the pandemic, and there was a gentleman who was living with dementia that Ben told me about, who used virtual reality, and he did the London bus ride, and for 3 or 4 days afterwards, he was still talking about his experience on the bus ride. So he'd also formed a memory of this experience. So there's a lot of potential here for the technology. So that's the example of the London bus ride, going around the different experiences. Here's another one. So ride a ninja motorbike. And when participants are within these experiences, as they look around, the view that they're looking at will change because of the videos. These are 360 videos, so they do have the ability to look at everything that's within the normal scope, as if they were really doing this. And again, there's a current resident at the White House who enjoys these sorts of videos because before they in their younger years, they used to travel around Europe on a motorbike, and these kinds of videos give people the opportunity to re-experience that to an extent, or perhaps reminisce over it. So here we are with the Cat Cafe. This one displays a little bit strange, just because of it's showing how people might see it in the lenses. Okay, so but as you can see, here's just passively viewing cats. And currently, when residents are using this within the White House, they provide Ben's created he's created a virtual reality menu where they are provided with a selection. They can also suggest videos that they'd like to see themselves, which then the activity coordinator will maybe search for. But typically, they get given a list of videos that they can then just select from if they don't really know this technology, and then we've seen as they get more comfortable with it, perhaps they'll suggest things that they're interested in doing. So it's been very well tolerated. I've given some good I've given them a couple of examples of anecdotes. There was also one that I forgot to mention, actually. So with our service evaluation, there was when we observed people living with dementia using the technology, there was a resident who's they've displayed some distress from using the technology. From using the technology, there's some people there was a resident who'd been displaying some distressful behaviour before using the technology, a couple of days leading up to it. After taking part in the activity and watching one of the videos, Ben said that there was a marked change in behaviour, basically a lot less agitation that lasted for about at least 24 hours after taking part in the activity. So essentially, it had some calming effect on the distressed behaviour. So let's just skip this. So what? Whoops. Okay, sorry, it's just... Okay, so we've done that. Okay, so where we are so far and what we're proposing is, so far we've already completed the background work, so we're hoping to apply for a research for patient benefit grant, which will fund a project for 2 years. So far we've already done the exploratory work. We've done some service evaluations, see that it's very, very well tolerated. People are really enjoying it, and it's not just a fad, and it offers something over that other activities such as jigsaw puzzles, for example, may not do. So what we're proposing within the grant is we'd have a phase 1, which is basically to develop a training package. That's what we think that is needed, to develop a training package and recommendations for the implementation of this. So we're proposing a stage where basically we will observe the successful implementation at the White House, and basically pick apart why it's working. This will be in collaboration with staff and also residents and also wider stakeholders. Then after this, we'll spend a few months refining what we've learned. This is all within the proposal, to develop website, training package, etc. Then we will go on to the refinement stage, where we expect to work with maybe 2 homes just to refine what we developed within the first home, kind of like an iterative process to develop the work package, to develop this training package. Then finally, we'll take, within the final 6 months, or after this, we'll do a final stage where we do a pilot study, which would be looking at the training package and how this helps to implement the virtual reality. So that's the idea. It will be a first phase of unpacking what's going on at the White House, turning this into a training package, refining this training package, and then testing the training package. So what are we hoping to get from stakeholders that are interested to get on board? So we are looking for sites to assist with either the refinement stage after we've developed the training package, and also the pilot test. So whilst this is all being co-created in collaboration with stakeholders, staff members, and most importantly residents, what we currently expect it to look like is it will probably be at each site 6 weeks of a 1 hour testing session, which is run by a staff member. So this could perhaps be the activity coordinator, or perhaps another staff member who feels comfortable with the technology. And then after this 1 hour session, we'll follow it by a 30-minute debrief. There'll be a member of the research team we envisage would also be present just to observe the sessions as they're run, and then also run the debrief sessions just to get feedback, etc. In order to refine this. But please note, this is likely to change as we co-design the project in collaboration with resident staff and wider stakeholders as well. But I think that's it, really. And I thank everybody for taking the time to click on this video, at least. If there are any questions, please do feel free to email me on joe.butler@sunderland.ac.uk. And I'll be happy to answer any questions, or also schedule in a Teams meeting as well if you want to discuss that more in depth. So thank you very much for listening, and I look forward to hearing from you. Okay, thank you.